When it comes to Sasuke Uchiha's monstrous power, it's safe to assume that many fans would agree he's in a very rare class of shinobi, being one of the 2 strongest ninja alive. In most cases, there would be no one crazy enough to challenge him to a fight outside of Naruto Uzumaki or Rock Lee. However, currently in Boruto Naruto Next Generation, Sasuke finds himself in a situation where his anger is quickly building to the point where it takes everything he has not to lash out at the target of his ire. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the moment where on Sasuke's S Rank mission to find a cure for the chakra illness that's eating away at Hokage Naruto's health, that Sasuke found himself struggling to contain his bloodlust, and how his bond with Naruto was the only thing that kept him from breaking a few bones or killing the people who attacked him. The information is given to us in the newest Sasuke novel that is set in the Boruto era, Sasuke Retsuden, the Uchiha Descendants, and the Heavenly Stardust. It's in this scene I'm going to share with you guys that we see Sasuke being beaten all throughout the day by the prison guards. This scene takes place a day after Sasuke is confronted by the person who controls the summoning creature Meno that Sasuke fought a few nights ago. In that confrontation, Sasuke grows irritated enough that he activates his sharingan. In the moments afterwards, Sasuke is put on notice that the summoner is also a ninja and that his business with Sasuke is far from over. It's in this scene that Sasuke gets beaten for every small thing that he does wrong, looking in the wrong direction, and he's beaten to a pulp, whispering in the ear of another inmate, and Sasuke's shoulder gets crushed and his bones are crushed. All of this is happening, and as this takes place, Sasuke has to endure the beating in order to maintain his cover as being a normal inmate, and the only thing that's keeping him from lashing out is the fact that he can't fail his mission. If he were to fight back and it was to become clear that he was a shinobi, which the general prison population doesn't know at the time because Sasuke never activates his sharingan and Sasuke's hair is longer and he keeps his Rinnegan covered. Sasuke needed to infiltrate the prison to find a cure for Naruto, and if he failed, Sasuke knew that the result would be that his best friend would die from the same illness that almost took the life of the Sage of Six Paths. Before I go in this scene, I want to thank Bethany Rose for very hard work at translating this novel word for word from Japanese to English. To put this into perspective, Japanese is one of the hardest languages to translate to English. So if you haven't already, head over to her Twitter and thank her. As always, I'll read the scene in question and come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. The next day, Patrol gave Sasuke his first punishment in his time at the prison. The only reason they gave was that during the roll call, he had his eyes averted, pissing off the guards. The patrol officers raised iron bars over their heads and almost happily smashed their rods into Sasuke's shoulder, crushing his bones, patrol officers taking turns with themselves in the torture. Of course, normally there'd be no way for a non-shinobi to beat Sasuke as badly as they did. Sasuke tried his best to just take the punishment, but it was still very painful and hard not to get angry. His holding of his tongue was considered to be an act of insubordination and defiance. The bitterness kept eating away at him through the punishment. No one associated with Sasuke was safe from the abuse of the guards. Gigi, without notice, in the middle of his work, also had to take a few beatings from the iron rods straight against his stomach. In addition to all of this, Sasuke was beaten as many as 3 times that day for the most incomprehensible of reasons, like when he whispered something to Gigi. The director made his instructions to the guards very clear: target Sasuke. Since he was never technically detained or thrown into a higher security type cell, there was no way anyone back in Konoha would break his cover if he was ill-treated, much less try to intervene. Sasuke actually preferred to be mixed in with the other prisoners nowadays to work. Solitary wouldn't be nearly as productive for his mission. Some of the prisoners were unknowingly misled by other people with their knowledge of what happened the other night with Meno, so Sasuke tried not to let the small mistakes on something so important as his fight with the beast bother him. As long as he's going to be treated like this, he won't show any signs of pain or remorse in his eyes. The director's impression of Sasuke should, at the least, be that he isn't a weak man. At the end of that day, Sasuke was barked at and had taken beatings several times by 8 different guards, making progress in his work extremely slow. Even if someone had called for him, he wouldn't reply. The look in his eyes were nothing but defiant and hostile. For all the various reasons they gave, no matter how many times they beat him, he wouldn't actually sustain any type of injury, making the guards even angrier. At the end of the day, the guards who checked their cell before bedtime would scold him like he was a student who had violated school rules, once beating and teasing about his hair being too too long. If all this wasn't for Naruto, he'd have broken a bone or two in these guards. End quote. So what I love about this scene is that Sasuke flat out states in his internal monologue that if these men had been shinobi and if Naruto's health was not at risk, Sasuke would have broken their bones for hitting him. He even took a beating because they said that his hair was too long, which I do find interesting since Sasuke's hair has actually grown longer in this scene in order to cover up his Rinnegan. Sasuke taking beatings from 8 different guards to the point where the work where he was sentenced to carry out in the prison was actually beginning to suffer. Yet through all of this, Sasuke made it a point to keep the fire burning in his eyes, all to send a message to the shinobi who confronted him the previous day to let him know that Sasuke might have been a prisoner, but he wasn't a weak prisoner. I love the idea of Sasuke playing the long game and think it shows great growth on his part. The old Sasuke wouldn't have done this at all. I love how this also pays homage to what Naruto did right after the pain arc. Karui was beating Naruto to a pulp, and Naruto took the beating all for the sake of Sasuke. Now, over 16 years later in the timeline, Sasuke is taking a beating and doing so all for Naruto's sake. If he lashes out, he will fail his mission and his best friend will die. It's a beautiful symbolism in my opinion. It shows just what Sasuke is willing to endure for Naruto's sake. But I want to know from you guys, what are your thoughts about Sasuke enduring this level of pain for Naruto? But as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.